Gaming. Thank you for joining another video. So let's go straight into this. Daniel Dubois' great win over Philip Hrgovic. Now, I can see the upset coming, and I did say on the preview that Philip Hrgovic needs to be very careful in this fight. And I could tell by the start from Philip Hrgovic's demeanour that it was not going to end well for him on the night. And his whole demeanour was based on a sparring session that happened many years ago. You've got a sort of mentality. You've got to make sure that you stay as the guy on top. No point telling people, oh yeah, I beat this dude up in sparring like 7 years ago, and now when it comes to the big fight, you're still thinking about the guy 7 years ago, and you're thinking the guy has improved. In fact, if you look at the resume of Daniel Dubois, he has a better resume in terms of the guys he'd fought: Alexander Usyk, Joe Joyce, and then this fight now with Hrgovic. Well, Hrgovic had fought Zhang, and he was lucky to win that fight. That was it. So I know that Dubois lost against Usyk, but Usyk is the #1 guy in the world now. Nobody would dispute that, even if they tried to. And so it looks pretty all good on Daniel Dubois, to be honest. It looks good for him. So I'm kind of glad he beat Hrgovic. I'm glad he beat Hrgovic because I said that Hrgovic was overrated. Overrated. And I'm glad that Hrgovic got beat. In fact, I'm so glad he got beat because that's two people. Abdul Salamov, his name is. And no, is it? It might be him. And the other guy. I think that is Abdul Salamov. I don't know his name is again. The guy that got beat by Ajit Kabaya, well, him and this other guy now, Philip Hrgovic. So glad they got beat. So glad because the ridiculous statements. Hrgovic will beat this person. Hrgovic is the best in the world. Hrgovic will beat Usyk and Tyson Fury and all this nonsense. I'm glad Hrgovic got beat. Hrgovic is lucky. Hrgovic is very lucky because imagine if that was Anthony Joshua hitting with them right hands. Anyway, let's move on. So I want to take this moment, really want to take this moment because it's not done enough in boxing. People just think that fighters go to trainers and it's magic and it all works out right and everyone's okay, but it doesn't always work that way. And I remember saying about Wilder. He had to get the right trainer. I never believed Malik Scott was really the right trainer. At first, I thought it was going to be a good partnership, but when I saw the buddy stuff going on, I'm going to talk about Wilder in a minute. Hey, bro, what's up? I remember you from way back. You always had the money chasing mentality. I You were solidified in the hood as much as the first gay dope friend in the block. Much respect to you, man. I don't know what he's talking about there, but I'm tired. Yes, Anthony, my brother, how are you? So talking about Daniel Dubois, what did I tell you about Hamza Shiraz? What did I tell you about that boy? I told you about Hamza Shiraz. Yeah, I know you're good. I did I tell you about Hamza Shiraz? What have I been telling you for years about Frank and Eddie and Frank is substance and Eddie is smoke and mirrors? Frank is matchmaking. Matchroom are horrendous when it comes to matchmaking. In terms of promotion or promoting fighters, great, but in terms of matchmaking and building fighters, they did like these leagues between Frank and or Queensbury and Matchroom. So yeah, it was really great to see Hamza Shiraz win the fight. Anyway, back to Daniel Dubois. Sorry, I've been distracted. So I want to say Shiraz did well, but let me tell you, than I was hoping more than anything for Williams to win. It was set up for Shiraz to win. Well, it was set up for him to win. Well, in that second round when he got wobbled, he's a Muslim boxing Saudi. Come on. Oh, you know, you never said that beforehand. If you'd pull that line up before he fought Williams, I would have said, okay, But you didn't pull that up. You were pulling that up afterwards because you were telling me Shiraz is tall and he's a bit chinny and I mean he took Williams' best shot and he came up for middleweight, right? You were telling came up to middleweight, isn't that what you're telling me? So I think Shiraz did well. I think Shiraz did well. I've said before. I think if Shiraz hadn't gone to America when he did, they made a decision to go to America, he would have lost that fight. I was being political. I was being political because from previous live streams, you like to avoid the political chat. No, I don't like to avoid the political chat. Obviously, you've not been on my chats long enough. I'm tired of the political chats. I've had many political chats, so you know, it doesn't. It all comes down. It always boils down to the test of time, isn't it? It always boils down to the test of time. So come back to Daniel Dubois. I want to take this moment to congratulate the trainer in Don Charles. I do. I want to take this moment because in boxing, we don't take a lot of time to congratulate trainers that don't have big names, like are not media pushed, if you get what I mean. They're not golden boys like like Teddy Atlas and Freddie Roach and Adam Booth and now Shane McGuigan and what's the other dude's name? What's this guy? Ben Davison. And you wouldn't see. Not much you'll see someone like Don Charles be on TV talking. They might interview him, but you won't see. You won't see Don Charles out there with a microphone talking much. And I think, for everything John Fury jumps out and says up and down, you could be having a Don Charles talking. And Don Charles talks a lot of sense, So credit to Don Charles for taking a Daniel Dubois who was out and out boxing people had completely written Daniel Dubois off. I backed him to beat Hrgovic. And I was very happy when he did beat Hrgovic because I said, if Don Charles can find that switch within Daniel Dubois, you're going to see a different animal. And I said, Daniel Dubois switched on is going to be a handful. And, Philip Hrgovic did himself no favours. He was talking all that big talk, insulting Daniel Dubois, said he didn't rate him as a fighter. Danny, I don't know what kind of shape that Hrgovic got himself into for that fight. He's blown out his ass from round 2. And I always said about Hrgovic, and if you look at my previous said, I don't rate Hrgovic because when the pressure is put on Hrgovic, and you stick it on him, he will fold, and that's exactly what he did. And that's exactly he did it in the amateurs when Joe Joyce, he was in front against Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce in the amateurs took it to Hrgovic, and he beat Hrgovic. Hrgovic folded in terms of his mental capacity and his heart. He folds when you put pressure on him. He doesn't like fighting backwards. So great stuff by Don Charles. To get Daniel Dubois at that point, you've got to get your confidence up. He had the fight against what's his name again? Oh, the cruiserweight guy he fought. I can see his name now. Somebody please get Larea. Kevin Larea. Remember that cruiserweight guy that dropped Daniel Dubois? He dropped him. And you think to yourself, if you're getting dropped by Kevin Larea, but you're standing up and you're walking through Hrgovic's punches, that's a thing. I think it's really a confidence thing, really. I think, Daniel Dubois is one of these guys that when confidence is high with Daniel Dubois, he's dangerous. And Don Charles has found the switch for that. And I'm very happy with Don Charles and his team. And you know what? I am still going to give Uncle Bashir his props because regardless of what disagreements that happen in that camp afterwards, right? You cannot knock the knowledge, the wisdom and understanding that Uncle Bashir would have given to someone like to Daniel Dubois. So Daniel Dubois, even his nuggets of information that Uncle Bashir would have given to Dubois, Dubois would have stored that information, I'm sure, somewhere in his system. I hope he would have stored that information. And of course, Don Charles and that team would have been around Bashir and would have picked up everything they could from such a wise man in boxing. So Credit to Don Charles though and the team. They held it together, and that is something fantastic. Now, the most worrying thing in that fight with Hrgovic is the elephant in the room defense. I mean, he was stopping shots like a goalkeeper with his head, and you cannot, at elite level, get away with that for too long. I don't know if Hrgovic can't punch because Kevin Herrera was able to drop down Dubois. Now, if it's a confidence thing, then Dubois' chin looks solid to me. I mean, he was getting hit on the button, not once, not twice, not 3 times. He was getting hit all night with that right hand. I tell you now, if that's Anthony Joshua hitting Dubois with that right hand, it might be one or two of them and it'll be good night. Because you can't be leaving your chin out to dry or walking through and taking bombs like that against Anthony Joshua, because he'll end up the same way as Ngannou. You can take it or you can let it alone. You cannot walk in. You say, well, that was the game plan for Hrgovic. With the first 3 rounds, he was going to weather the storm and come through. Well, let me tell you something. Dubois is not weathering no. If that's Anthony Joshua on the right hand, he's not weathering no storm. I'm telling you now, Dubois is not weathering no storm. He's going to get soaked in the rain. So he and his team are going to have to work on his head work, his head movement very quickly. Very quickly. That's the first thing. The second thing is because you I mean, I understood what Don Charles was saying. You know, we were going to weather the storm and come through, but Joshua's punching is another. You know, I'm looking at this fight. All I'm thinking to myself is, just get through this fight against Hrgovic, and I'm thinking to myself, my lord, can you imagine if that was Joshua hitting him with that right hand? And I'm thinking, ooh, ooh, ooh. So he's got to try his best to moving his head. He better find some Mike Tyson videos between now and September and get his head like this. Don Charles better get his head moving like this to Boss head, because if he doesn't, he's going to be a target practice, and that fight will last 3 rounds. Now, on the flip side of things, yeah, Joshua does not fight well backing up. Joshua does not like pressure, and Joshua has not got the greatest chin. So when you put those 3 things together, right? I mean, Joshua's looked good in his comeback fights, but if you're going to tell me that, what's this guy's name? All these guys' fighters' names, he's like, I'm so disinterested in boxing these days. The guy, apart from the 5v5 and what Turkey Sheikh is doing at the moment, Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, and Ngannou. None of those dudes really came with a purpose to knock Joshua. I mean, Ngannou came with a purpose to try and win the fight, but you know, Dubois wasn't making those sort of mistakes against Joshua, and anyway, he's pinged Joshua in sparring before, so I understand. My concern is how Dubois starts the fight against Joshua. Joshua's had far more big fights or big fight experience, and it's that defense. And the other thing that concerns me about Daniel Dubois, and he's the only fighter in the world that I've seen taking instructions from a trainer and looking outside the ring for his daddy. That's not cool. That's not cool. There's no way that if your dad is on the ring apron, right, the other side of the ring apron of fight, and you're fighting, there is no way that should be happening. No way you're looking out the ring and you're looking for your dad. I'm not talking about if your dad's in the corner, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyone you're looking for your dad. Like every fight, I'm seeing this dude looking out for somebody in the audience. Somebody giving him like instruction on how to fight. I don't understand it. So I don't understand what Dubois is doing. That's something that I don't like seeing Daniel Dubois. Yeah, AJ is best, in my opinion. AJ is best when he boxes. When AJ goes like, that's why I said the Ruiz would beat him in the first fight. When AJ goes looking for guys, that's where he gets caught. That's where he gets tagged. That's where he gets hurt. The Ruiz fight, the Klitschko fight, the Dillian White fight. Any of the times that you see AJ trying to go for someone, that's where he's most vulnerable. Um, and I know that against Dubois, he knows Dubois can punch, and he knows Dubois can box. So I don't know if Dubois has got the ability to put the fear of God in Joshua, because there's guys who put, and it's not the big dudes that Joshua is got concerns about. It seems to me the little guys seem to be a problem for Joshua. If you think about it, Ruiz and Usyk gave Joshua issues, and even Jermaine Franklin he didn't look that impressive against. But the big dudes, your Dominic Brazil, even Garnu, all the big dudes, just like Lennox Lewis, Lennox did very well against the bigger guys. So maybe, just maybe, um, this might be easier for Joshua. I mean, I don't know. ASI, everyone is a little guy to AJ. Well, Dubois is not a little guy. And Garner wasn't a little guy. Hellenius wasn't a little guy. The only guy who probably was a little guy was Jermaine Franklin. I mean, what? Hellenius, what, 6'5"? What's it in Garner, 6'3" or 6'4"? So, yeah, so they're the ones that gave him problems. Even what's this guy? Takam gave Joshua problems. He busted his nose, didn't he? So them smaller guys give Joshua problems, but these big dudes will, like Dubois. That's where Joshua's at. I think he's at his best, and that is and the way Joshua, or the way Dubois goes about his fight with Joshua, is the same way he goes about the fight we fought Hrgovic. Stick him on the back foot, make him fight, because Joshua, another one, you back him, has got no defense. He's got absolutely no defense. So that's exactly to go forward, back Joshua up, and make him fight. Make him fight. That's the only way Dubois beating Joshua. But in doing that, if he starts walking in straight lines against Joshua with his head there, like he's playing a video game, he's gonna get absolutely blasted out there. Yeah. Dubois 6'3", I think he is. So after AJ coming after that the Ngannou fight, AJ is like he seems to have his head together, but I don't know if that's an illusion because the opposition's been so poor, or he's actually matured as a fighter and the Ben Davidson and him relationship is working well. We don't know because the opposition hasn't been threatening. I expected him to have a more difficult fight against Ngannou, but it didn't work out that well, did it? Let me have a look. Let's go and read these notes now and see what people are saying. Let's go here. Okay, Dubois will be a tough fight for AJ. Make no mistake about it. I want everyone to underestimate Dubois so that the betting odds become good for him to KO AJ. I want Dubois to be a massive underdog on the betting odds. Hrgovic, bloody hell, what a lazy so-and-so. I told you about Hrgovic. I told you Hrgovic was hype. He was useless. I said it. What do people remember Hrgovic for? The sparring session with Deontay Wilder and the fight he had against Zhang. That's it. Dubois looks like a unit. It says the Invisible Cloak promotion says DDD needs to sort the defense out, then he'll be next champion. Hrgovic didn't even look as if he did a full cab. I think he's a bully, just that. And if you give him some resistance, he wilts. He's flipping lazy too. Yeah, I said to you about Hrgovic. I told you Hrgovic. You've got to give Hrgovic. You've got to put it on Hrgovic. And if you put it on Hrgovic, he folds like a deck chair. You don't want Dubois to take any right hands from AJ, but if you can take them and keep coming forward, it's a long night for AJ. Nah, it's not a long night, it's a short night for AJ. Because, you know, once he gets clipped with a shot and he gets hurt, he doesn't do very well. He doesn't do very well at all. Wilder gone, White gone, Fury gone, AJ, question mark, is next. DDD will dominate next era into, he's only 26, he'll only just get better. Yeah, the problem with Dubois is that he's very much, I hate to use the word, manufactured. You know, when I say the word manufactured, I mean that a lot of what he's done is the word choreographed. Is robotic in the sense that he's like you put the information into Dubois and then he will follow the instructions. But I don't see Dubois as a guy that's can think on his feet and make changes, and that's where the great fighters are able to make the changes mid-fight. Andre Ward, Joe Calzaghe, Floyd Mayweather Jr. These guys are able to make adjustments in a fight. They're able to make the adjustments and win fights because of that. And I don't see Dubois being a guy that can make adjustments on the fly. I don't. He would have to have that information told to him, and then he'd have to go out and follow it. So I don't see Dubois being that. I see Dubois being a guy that is going to be dangerous if you let him hit me on the chin. But I don't see longevity with Dubois. Not at the top level. No, I think you need to have a certain level of boxing IQ. No disrespect to Dubois there, but I feel that I don't know. He's very much he's forever young. I would say is the best way to describe that situation. So I don't see him dominating. I'd love to see him do it, but I don't see him being a dominant champion. Boxer have a short window. Seems to me that Hearn has been trying to rehabilitate AJ since the second Usyk fight. He's had Franklin, Helenius, Wallin, and Ngannou. Yeah, Wallin. I forgot the Wallin fight. Daniel will be his toughest to date. Yep. DD's got a better chin. When he does move his head, he does it quite well. I said during the Miller fight that Daniel reminds me a bit like Holyfield style wise. Don Charles has him throwing the hook to the body and to the head too. Yep. Yeah. DDD came in very aggressive because Hrgovic disrespected him. I told you before the fight what was going to happen with that, with how Daniel Dubois would be. I said Hrgovic is doing all the wrong things. That's all right. That's what you call a nice ass whipping. A very nice ass whooping. AJ don't like pressure, and remember when AJ unloads and can't get you out of there, he gasses and becomes vulnerable. Yep. Well, I think, I think he's maturing as a fighter. I think that Daniel Dubois might be on the spectrum, if you know what I mean. Yep. Hence the reason why his dad has to be visible and audible presently. Yeah, but you know when I think that, it makes me feel, and please, I'm not using the right words here, but I feel like he's been. I don't use the word exploited, but again, because they're something that's very visible there, you think, is he being exploited? I don't know. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like a cash cow, you know? Regardless of what's going on behind closed doors, he just goes out there and fights. Yeah, go on, Dan, just go out and fight. Go on, Dan, you go out and fight. You know? Um, can't see Dubois beating AJ. Bro, what do you mean you can't see it? Why can't you see it? Are you that confident in AJ's chin? I'm not. AJ does to Dubois what he did to Francis. After what I saw Philip do to him, so many right hands. Yeah, I did say it. I've been saying it. The guy was throwing a straight right hand at Daniel. Imagine AJ. Yeah, I know you imagine that, but AJ's got to come out confidence and do that. AJ doesn't like fighting on the back foot. He doesn't like fighting on the back foot, and he's aware that Daniel Dubois can hurt him. So it'll be interesting. What's up? I picked Daniel Dubois to beat Hrgovic. So did I. Parker would beat Daniel Dubois. Would he? Would he? Don't know. Zhang was able to catch him and drop him twice. And that's Zhang, and that's slow ass Zile Zhang. AJ beats Dubois. Okay. What do you think of Dubois' headbutts? I don't know. He didn't headbutt me. Daniel is also a headbutting people. Well, so I think maybe the Holyfield video. No, move on. Daniel Dubois. I love that comment. No, move on. Please remember, Evander Holyfield was not a defensive master, but which allowed him to be a lot of exciting fights. I suspect that Daniel's career might be similar. Yeah, it might be, probably. I don't think Dubois is autistic. He's autistic. Stick a mic and a camera in his face, and they all take a long time to come. Come, cause and confident. No comment. Daniel needed to sell this AJ fight years ago. It won't get 90,000. AJ is a superior boxer compared to Dubois. Superior boxer. What is so superior? I'm not sure what you would consider superior. Would Dubois beat Helenius? Yes. Would Dubois beat Ngannou? Based on what I saw there, yes. Would Dubois beat Wallin? Yes. Would Dubois beat... You think? Yeah. Would Dubois beat all the guys that Ages had in his comeback? Yeah, he would. I don't know what makes him a superior boxer. I'm not sure about a superior boxer. Headbutts and elbows are part of the game. AJ will KO Dubois, but I'm very impressed by Dubois' growth. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. But will AJ come out as arrogant? Hrgovic. You've got to remember, Hrgovic hasn't been stopped. AJ has been stopped. Remember, AJ has been wobbled, hurt by Usyk, and beaten in 2 fights. So you have to have confidence when you're throwing punches. And whereas Ngannou didn't have a very solid amateur background or solid boxing background, full stop, Dubois possesses something different. And he's hungry. So with sheer brute strength and power, if any of those blows hit AJ in the chin, there's a problem for AJ. So in terms of taking punishment, you'd have to think that Dubois takes punishment better than AJ. And he was a superior boxer until Andrew Ruiz touched him on the whiskers. Usyk is elite and far above Dubois. Well, again, I would not say that because that fight until up to the body blow. I mean, Dubois wasn't getting out smashed and out boxed. I wouldn't say that. I thought it was a good fight with Usyk and Dubois. He wasn't getting smashed to bits. He wasn't getting pinged from pillar to post. And he said he wasn't wobbling around the ring like Tyson Fury. Okay? So, yeah. Both quite quick, should be interesting. AJ still has the memory of being dropped and stopped from Reed. That is what I'm talking about right there. I do not think that AJ will fight that fight with blood and guts. He will try and box and move behind the jab. That's what I believe so as well. There's no way AJ is going to come out there. In fact, nobody of world class has AJ knocked out inside the first 3 rounds. Nobody. DD needs his rematch with Usyk. I agree with you, Anthony. Yes, that's what I said. So all these people talking about AJ being a superior boxer. Well, is he going to come out and box that superior? I don't see that. I don't see it. He's not going to want to engage with Dubois. No, he's not going to want to engage with Dubois at all. At all. No way. He won't want to engage with Dubois. So what he's got, I understand the thing about the right hand on the chin of Dubois, and he can't take right hands like that from AJ. But I think AJ is going to take more of the sniper approach. What I mean by that is he will draw the lead from Dubois, set the jabs up, set the jab up, use the jab as a rangefinder and just pour it out there to Dubois. Wait for Dubois to make a mistake and then fling the right hand over the top. That's the thing I sort of kind of see AJ fighting. AJ admires Klitschko. The reason why he admires Klitschko is because Klitschko, the style that Emmanuel Stewart taught was one that was to reduce minimum amounts of damage while making maximum amount of money, and then land the uppercut. Indeed. So, superior boxer. I don't think AJ's a superior boxer to Dubois. He might be a bit better, but he's not superior. You know, yeah, it's not superior. You know he loves it. Yeah, of course, the uppercut, of course. Um, it was not too long ago people were saying about AJ should retire. So is it smoke and mirrors for AJ because of the fights he's had in his comeback? You know, the fight that everyone will talk about now is the Ngannou fight. But that's what was expected to happen to Ngannou before. So we shall see. I want to finally close by this. Two guys got beat. Deontay Wilder and Daniel Dubois. They both changed trainers. Wilder left Mark Breland and he brought in Malik Scott. Dubois left I think the Bowers and McGuigan, and he ended up going with Don Charles. You see the difference. One guy had a cheerleader in his corner that basically allowed him to spin around like a ballerina. And ironically, the last fight of his career, or would be the last fight of Wilder's career, he spins around like a ballerina. He spun around like a ballerina and not cut out cold. Yeah, I have boxed and I have trained. Boxing. I've actually qualified boxing tutor. I'm glad you asked the question. Boxing tutor, and I was training. I was training with Barry Jones in Barry Jones's gym until I got ill. I was going to train. I was training with Barry Jones, and my trainer was Steve Robinson's trainer, Mr. Ronnie Rush, down in Cardiff. Yes, Ely. So I'm sure Barry Jones could tell you a few stories about myself. Good old days. Loved it. Didn't like Ronnie though. He was a piece of work as a trainer. Piece of work. And then I did boxing for schools, in the right way, of course. Boxing for schools I did with Wayne Llewellyn and Julius Francis. Yeah, so it was me, Julius Francis, Wayne Llewellyn. We did boxing for schools across Kent, Medway. What's this place? Tower Hamlets. So we go into schools and we get the kids doing the bleep test and non-contact boxing. So that was it because you do it in schools, of course. So we do that. And good. Let them work in combinations, and then I did a few classes. And when I was in Ireland, I did some boxing classes as well. They were quite fun during the winter. I might get back to doing that as well. So I've combined that, and then I've kind of got myself registered with Boxercise. It's quite cool actually. So I might go back and do that during the winter. Some Boxercise. I think about what I'm going to do for winter. So yeah, there's your little bit of information there about what I've done before. And in fact, there, if you go on my channel, you'll see me doing some pad work with Mr. Bashir, Uncle Bashir. And there's another video of me working with White's old trainer, Xavier Miller. And then there's another video of me working with the head of Ireland boxing coach. So yeah, some work there as well. So there's a couple of videos of me on the old pads. Yeah. So there you go, Charlie Adams. Um, I would like to do some. I would like to do some training at a boxing gym at some point soon. I think the time is coming soon for me to make that conversion fully into boxing. Um, it's a shame we might never see Wilder versus AJ or even Fury AJ if Dubois wins. Yeah, yeah. Wilder has always been garbage. Wilder simply overachieved and won the lottery ticket in life with his right hand, right off into the sunset, and thank your lucky stars. I don't know if that's actually true. I think that he made a horrible error leaving Mark Breland. And if he left Mark Breland, he should have replaced it with a very good coach. He didn't do that. He brought in a cheerleader, and that was the end of Deontay Wilder's cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's what I think there. Anthony Mackin, everyone knows he's a one-trick pony, but he's shown great heart against Fury. A one-trick pony, but he's a damn good one-trick pony. It's a damn good one to make 10 defense of the WBC title. It's a damn good one-trick pony. If all I had was a right hand, yeah. I mean, you say this stuff about a one-trick pony, yeah. But you remember the old video games we used to play, like Mike Tyson's Punch Out and all these other games where a guy would have a special punch. Well, that was Deontay Wilder. If you take Deontay Wilder for what he is, he's very exciting. Now, if you have a Floyd Mayweather in the heavyweight division, you would call him boring. A technician in the heavyweight division, you call him boring. You have the most devastating puncher in heavyweight boxing, and then you turn around telling me stuff like now and he's a one-trick pony. So, tell me, what was George Foreman? What was George Foreman? George Foreman was a guy that he hit extremely hard. He was a puncher. He was a puncher, Foreman. He had a great jab, but he had a big right hand. He could really punch. Foreman's best attribute was his punching power. Yeah, you could say the same thing about Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield was a great boxer until he met southpaws. Didn't like southpaws, or couldn't fight. He had problems against southpaws. Or guys who could move. He didn't like movers. I mean, okay, Gennady Golovkin. Would you say he's a one-trick pony? He only fought one way. He could only fight one way. Or Ricky Hatton. Well, he could only fight one way. So, I mean, you have to be fair. So if you're saying Wilder is not the most devastating puncher in heavyweight boxing, he's one of the most devastating. Yeah, he did. He did stop Mora in the second fight, but I don't know if Mora came into the right shape the second fight. But he stopped Mora in the second fight. But then look, the other guys that beat Holyfield as well, was it? I think maybe Larry Donald, Chris Bird. There's a lot of guys that beat Evander Holyfield. But I'm going to the point there. So they have certain guys have certain kryptonites. So fighting one style is different from having one skill. Well, again, I would disagree with you having one skill. Are you saying that Luis Ortiz is not a good boxer? Cuban boxer is not a good boxer. But I would argue and say that he's a very good boxer. And by the way, Wilder only has a right hand. But did that right hand not knock down Tyson Fury 4 times in 2 fights? I think there's an element. If you just have a right hand, you've got to be able to have a skill level to set that right hand up and for it to land consistently. Land consistently and be effective. And the problem with Wilder was where he had that issue with his right hand, he didn't have someone like an Emmanuel Stewart that could teach him how to set that right hand up properly. Wilder's Luis Ortiz was average, but and again, we like to say these things after the event because Luis Ortiz, before he fought Wilder, a lot of people backed. If you go back and watch the tape, a lot of people backed Luis Ortiz to beat Wilder, and even in the rematch, they expected Luis Ortiz to beat Wilder. Yeah, and I said in the build up to the fight with Lewis Ortiz and Wilder, I was saying, who of you has a warm up to go and fight Wilder? So I cannot agree with you. Say we only one trick. Well, no, we had to set the punches up. If he just had a right hand, then there's no way he would have been as effective as he was. He had a right hand, but he was able to set himself in positions to land the shots and or lay guys out. I mean, the way he laid out, Steve Cunningham and Niven Patrick have dropped Fury before Fury. So what? Yeah, Fury got up every time. My point is this. My point is this. Fury, according to some people, are saying he's the greatest heavyweight in the world, or he's one of the best heavyweights ever. I mean, before he got beat by Usyk, he was one. People were talking about him being one of the greatest heavyweights ever. My point is this: I think there's a lot of negative things said about Wilder, but the fact of the matter is the guy made 10 defenses of the heavyweight championship of the world, more defenses than Fury, may I say. 10 defenses of the heavyweight championship of the world, and for a guy, he won the bronze at the Olympics, and they don't give out bronze medals at the Olympics for nothing. So yes, Wilder's technique might not be the greatest, and it didn't help that he had a cheerleader in his corner, because if you look at Deontay Wilder after he left Mark Breland, he was worse. He was worse. So I think if you had given, imagine just for 1 second now, you had a proper trainer and Eddie Futch, Phil Torrance, who had Ali Bashir, who else? Buddy McGirt, a guy who will teach Ronnie Shields, guys who will teach technique. If he could have any of those fighters, any of those trainers teaching him good technique and they helped him to polish him, Emmanuel Stewart, I think we've missed out on a great heavyweight in Wilder. I really say we have. I really do. I don't know, bro. I've seen some windmills. I've seen some windmills too as well. I've seen windmills, and in training, I've seen spinneroos. So, I mean, what we'd still be saying Fury one of the greats if he took Ngannou seriously and beat him. I called it that Wilder would stop Ortiz in both fights. Ortiz was a manufactured, overrated old fighter. I heard that they had to fake his medical for him to pass it for the first fight. Yeah, well, I was told by Mansour, Amir Mansour on my show, that he was closer to 48. If you're a true boxing fan and here into this sport, there is no way that you can credit someone like that. He's garbage. I can't call him. You can't call him garbage. Come on, Anthony. You can't call Wilder garbage. That's truly unfair, man. In that case, then Fury can't be that much better. Because if Fury got dropped twice in 4 fights by a garbage fighter, what does that say about Tyson Fury? I don't know, bro. I don't know. 10 defense of the heavyweight championship of the world, Olympic bronze medalist. I can't even call the guy garbage, man. Can't call the guy garbage. I'm not saying he's great technically, but what he did do worked very well for him. That's what I'm saying. But to call him garbage, nah, I can't call Wilder garbage, man. I can't call him. I tell you what, I could say his trainer's garbage, and that probably would be effective. I would probably call his trainer garbage. As Wilder got metal bars in that right hand, I don't know, bro. Does Wilder beat AJ with Breland in that period of the Fury trilogy? It's a good question. It's a good question. I know that this Wilder we got now, or the Wilder that fought Joseph Parker, Joshua would have ironed him out. He would have done. I think what Joshua would have done, he would have doubled up that jab. Doubled up that jab. The jab itself might have even hurt Wilder. Double up the jab and look to crack the right hand in, honestly. And I just don't see Wilder standing up to Joshua's power. I don't. I didn't see him stand up to Zhang's power. I don't see how he stands up to Joshua's power. I just don't. Um, I would say that Wilder was a bit more together, a bit more coordinated. Don't know if he beats Joshua. When he catches Joshua with the right hand, it's over. We know that now. What's news with Garcia? Did he use PDs or not? I don't know. My thoughts on this was I always thought that Garcia was innocent. I think when you play with people's money and you start talking the truth and you start talking out of line, people will find a way to try and shut you up. And most of the time, they can't kill you, they'll give you character assassination. So, and I've talked about PDs and boxing for years. I've told you that this is a system that can be rigged. It's a system that can, bring a fighter's career down. Even if the fighter's innocent, the boxing world will keep him judged. Fury is that much is not that much better. He came in sloppy for the third fight too. All it says is Wilder's power is inhumane. I mean, quite possibly. Go through all the 10 defenders and you tell me how many of them were world class. Alright, well you go through Fury's record and you tell me how many of them were world class. Let's go. We can have this conversation. How many guys Fury thought were world class? Let's go. So we know the Klitschko fight. We know okay. So Wilder's not even world class. He's garbage. So put Wilder out. So how many big wins has Fury got in his resume? He got beat by Usyk. Okay, got beat up by the Gabby Tooth, blown up middleweight who's a foreigner, and he's getting it. Remember that guy, Usyk? So you go through Tyson Fury's resume. We can go here. We can go here. It doesn't end well. Klitschko and Usyk are two better than anyone Wilder's fought, including Fury. Are we including Fury in that now? Why? Chisora? Wait, White got floored, stopped by Povetkin, or did you forget that? And then Chisora's got beat 12 times or 13 times. And I thought McDermott beat Fury in the first fight, truth be told. So, bro, it doesn't bode well for Fury. If we want to talk about the McDermott fight, the first McDermott fight, is McDermott world class? Are you going to tell me now John McDermott's world class? With all due respect to John McDermott, is he world class? I don't think Ortiz is better than White. I don't know where to go with this conversation, bro. Don Charles saying he'll make Dubois into a big heavy Holyfield. Yes, he definitely with those headbutts. Yeah, well, Don Charles. Yeah, well, pianist. Sefa Seferi. Ortiz's record does not prove that he's better than White. Who the hell has he fought? Wait. No, Anthony, come back. Bro, come back. Brother, my brother, come back. You were telling me about the world-class Tyson Fury. Let's talk about it. And his resume. Let's go. He had 3 fights against a garbage fighter. In 2 of those fights, he got dropped twice by a garbage fighter. That's it. Who can't box, who cannot box. And then Fury struggled against Ngannou. Should have been beat by McDermott in the first fight. So, Wilder has not fought Klitschko or Usyk. Okay. Alright. But he has fought the best heavyweight in the world 3 times. Until Usyk came along. Regardless, Wilder did not beat Fury in any of those fights. Wilder didn't beat Fury. Oh, it's funny. Your fun is funny. It's funny. Hey, listen. Listen, I'm not gonna stand and accept a guy who had 10 defenses of the WBC title, right? I will tell you now that Deontay Wilder's career was well managed. That's what I'll say. It was well managed. Under Al Heyman, it was well managed. I don't think Al Heyman would have had Deontay Wilder anywhere near Parker, and I don't think it would definitely would have had him nowhere near Zhang, because those two fights there, career ending. You know, so no, I don't. If we're gonna talk and call, if you're gonna call Wilder garbage, then I'm not gonna say technically he was great. I'm never gonna tell you that, but he could punch, and he could punch very well. Uh, there's a few guys got tracking back in heavyweight. It's heavyweights boxing. Any one of those guys can be dropped. Wilder was dropped by Dustin. Yes, and Harold Sconius, he was knocked out, knocked down. He was knocked out by Harold Sconius, they say as well. So yeah, I get it, I get it, I get. But no, but what I'm saying to you, yes, you say okay. It actually hurts my soul when I hear famous people who don't know boxing say Fury is the greatest of all time, or one of them. You can't, you can't. You see, the minute you put up the argument that Wilder is garbage, the minute you say Wilder is garbage, you're literally taking something away from Tyson Fury's legacy, because then he's only beaten one legitimate fighter, which is Klitschko. Klitschko, and he was being trained by a terrible trainer again in Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks and Alex Scott come from the same school of thought, it seems to me. Okay, I have not said that Fury is one of the greatest of all time. I don't rate Fury that highly, but he's better than Wilder for sure. Yes, he's a bit better than Wilder. And remember, again, I remind you, remember, Wilder only has a right hand and he's garbage. I didn't say your words. So I can't call Wilder garbage. What's your top 10 heavyweights? Top 4, Usyk, Fury, AJ, Parker. But then I struggle after that. I think Zhang, DDD might take 5th. I'd like to see how good Wardley actually is. Fabio Wardley. I'd like to see how good he actually is. Because he seems to punch like a mule. He's got a big heart. I'd like to see how where Fabio Wardley can go with his career. Dear me. I'd like to see what he does. Yes, Wilder's garbage. I stand by it. Okay. I think I should do an evening dedicated to Wilder is garbage. I think I really should do it an evening because it doesn't make Fury look any good at all. I predicted Hrgovic's performance months ago. He's a bully with sparring mentality, and he's got no gas tank. He was always way too arrogant with Dubois. He does have a good chin, but his face was falling off his skin fall off his face. Wilder's best win is 60-year-old Ortiz. So yeah, what and Tyson Fury's best win is Vladimir Klitschko. Or Deontay Wilder. Oh, we can't use Wilder because he's garbage. Put him to one side. So the only guy that's on the resume of Tyson Fury that matters is Klitschko. Yes. Yes. That's it. And by the way, that wasn't a great fight. That was not a great fight. I would like to have seen them run that fight back again. I'm not saying Fury would have beat them again, but I'd love to see them run that fight back. I think that was the time where Klitschko's was his wife. It's that Hollywood actress. By the way, I think Wilder's win over Audley Harrison needs more credit. Actually, I spoke to Wilder the night. Did you know? I did a live interview with Deontay Wilder the night before Audley Harrison. Yeah, the night before he fought Audley Harrison. Yeah, I think about 4 a.m. in the morning. I was talking to him. did an interview. It's on my channel, by the way. Just check it out. Yeah, and that was and at that time, he didn't like me very much because I said to him that he was just knocking at cab drivers. So what? You jumping up and down for knocking at cab drivers? Fight somebody decent, and he wasn't too happy about that. Wilder's best result is arguably split draw of Fury. How did Audley win gold? Well, I don't know. Audley boxed well. Audley did well, but you know something? Here's a true story, yeah, about Audley. Well, two stories. Well, my cousin used to manage Audley. I used to go to college with Audley. She used to manage Audley, and she managed Audley up to the point, I think he was 14 and 0, or 13 or 14 and 0. And then she stopped working with him. And then Audley, did you know before Audley turned pro, he went to Emmanuel Stewart, and Emmanuel Stewart sent him away. Wasn't interested in him. No, I didn't see that brother. I've only been here since AJ Povetkin, I think it was. Aldighausen did very well to win the gold medal. He was amateur too long. I always remember Audley was in Tottenham College. He always say to me, he'd tell me to take his boxing class, and he used to say to me, "I've got to go off. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and go for with GB now." I remember him saying it. Yeah, he did start boxing late. Fair play to Audley though. Um, I think if Audley had followed the advice for those who are wise, his career would have been a lot different. But he didn't want to do the work. He got the money too easy, too early in his career, and that sort of ruined him. Audley was a pioneer by starting A Force. He was. He was. Like I said, my cousin used to manage him. He used to be surprised at the sort of people who weren't happy about him being that way. Wilder isn't a good boxer. He's just got power. I don't think I can understand your argument. But you know, my argument is I can't call Wilder garbage based on being an Olympic bronze medalist and also being making 10 defenses of the heavyweight champion of the world. Can't be garbage. 10 defenses. He was shut out by the cartel. Yeah. Officialised Maloney set a team up to shut him out. Yeah, that was the plan. That was the plan. You remember when Herbie Hyde turned up to his one of his fights? Herbie Hyde, what a legend. I don't know how we got to all this, but yeah, I can't. The argument is I can't call Wilder garbage. Although I think this definitely needs to be. At least you had him to hold him to account, unlike some interviewers. Yeah, yeah. I did hold him to account. He didn't like it very much. We had a back and forth on Twitter about it as well. People were laughing at the time. Yeah. Yeah. So he knew who I was, and yeah, long story. And one day I'll tell you more about it. But I want to say this much before I end. I think we need to do a. I think because it brings up a great topic, Anthony. I know you say that Wilder's garbage, but is it the fighter's fault that he didn't take the big fights, or the way the WBC had the mandatory set up, or because let's look at Tyson's defenses of the heavyweight championship of the world. Who did he defend it against? Jake Chisora, Dillian White. He had the Ring Magazine defenses against Safa Safiri. What's his name? What's this other guy's name? Pianetta. Uh, Volin. And what's his other dude's name? Tom Schwartz. Uh, I agree. Wilder ain't the fighter he was, and probably got rated a bit too highly, but he was still a damn good fighter in his day. Sure, yeah, Schwartz, yeah, exactly. There you go. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I can't call the guy garbage. I can't call the guy garbage. I can't. I can't listen. I can't call John McDermott garbage. I can't call John McDermott garbage. While he was just a belt holder at this time, he does not deserve to be in a conversation with the greats. Well, I believe he does deserve to be in the conversation with the greats because I tell you something now. There's not a lot of them greats that would have stopped that punching power of Wilder. Wilder was just a bit. I don't. I just. That punching power. Wilder under Mark Breland. I would like to see Wilder. There's a few heavyweights I'd like to see. All right, let's be mythical for one moment. You rate Rock. You rock. I get you rate Rocky Marciano. Yeah, Rocky Marciano versus Deontay Wilder. What is Jollof doing? He's still messing around with doing amateur stuff. Thought he was going with Top Rank. Wilder should go to Sugar. Yeah, he probably would do well. He probably would do well with that. Actually, the Kronk style. Wilder versus Marciano. Different. Yeah, but we are talking about different eras now. Hello, Lakvinda. How you doing, brother? Um, we are talking different eras now. We're talking different eras, and you said, well, he's garbage. But hold on, if I stick Wilder in the ring with Rocky Marciano, I'd stick him with Rocky Marciano any time, no problems. See how that fight works out. See how many right hands Rocky Marciano will walk through. Marciano, there's one. I'll handpick a couple of heavyweights. Who else will I go for? Wilder should retire, enjoy his money and his kids while his faculties are intact. But I don't know if faculties are intact because how you spin around for in a down ring when you're doing training. I mean, anyway. Do you know? Here's something. It's a sad story about Wilder. You know, even in the day he fought Zhang, he still didn't know what his best weight is. I have to judge him by what he did in his own era and who he beat. He didn't unify or beat another elite fighter in his era. Nah, Turkey will get him back after putting him in with Zhang. Oh, why? To get flattened again. He needs all the money he can get now, Wilder. So his ex is really stinging him. I think because he's got a new girlfriend, hasn't he? I think he, I think he slept with his brother's girlfriend. Now I think he's dating his brother's girlfriend or something mad, some madness like that. And Telly's getting him for it. Please, please, no. He says Dubois' defense was very interesting. He looked like he got confused and thought he was supposed to be eating the right hands of Hrgovic. He could fight a top 50 fighter and come back. I don't know. Dillian White versus Deontay Wilder. I'd still go and watch that. I'd still go and watch that. Even just for the press conference and what they say to one another. But yeah, I do think we need to do an evening of is Wilder garbage. We have to do it because as I said, I don't think he's the greatest fighter in the world. I think he used what he had. Wilder versus White will have to be a Saudi card for Wilder to take it. Yeah. No, no. What about Hugh Fury's comeback? Yeah, you know what, Hugh Fury? I'm gonna say this now, Peter. If you're listening, get Hughie Fury fighting somebody who speaks good English. One and two has a personality. Cause all these dudes that Hughie Fury fights, right? They know he's got no damn personality. Cause Hughie's got zero personality. So he needs to be fighting guys like Jarrell Miller, Deontay Wilder. Who else? Anybody's got personality. Anybody's got charisma. Anybody's got a bit of a mouth, loud mouth. Good points. Wilder needs to forget about belts and take the money home. Money fights should be get some paydays out there. He needs the money. He might still need the money. Fisher as well. LOL. Johnny Fisher. Oh yes, he's going to fight the great Alan Babbage. Yes, can't wait for that either. Should be interesting. Um, so yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Much appreciated. It's good to have you in the room. I see Fisher chinning Babbage within three. Well, he better do that. He doesn't want to get chinned by Babbage. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. Appreciate if you're already subscribed, just leave the comments in the comment section. Anthony, I'm gonna do a show on is Wilder garbage. We have to, because whilst I don't think he's the greatest or one of the best, I think he needs to be respected for what he's achieved. Have a good night. Take care.